Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. I hope everybody's having a good afternoon so far. We are going live with breaking news. We have a tornado warning that was just issued near the Hattiesburg area of southern Mississippi. This was just issued moments ago by the National Weather Service, and this is actually a pretty strong area of rotation that has been developing for the last several minutes, and this is currently tracking toward a pretty populated area here in southern Mississippi. This is the latest on the velocities radar. This is currently moving off to the northeast at about, or east northeast, excuse me, at about 25 to 30 miles per hour. It is going to be heading toward a fairly populated city, which is Hattiesburg in southern parts of Mississippi. This is your rotation right here, which is actually pretty strong on the velocities radar. Notice this green and blue area here. Those are strong winds that are going toward the radar. In addition to this, we also have some velocity or winds going away from the radar, so that's your rotation. Very strong winds overall in that green area, which is definitely concerning because in this particular region, we have a pretty conditional risk of there being a potential for a strong tornado. Now, obviously, the tornado risk to begin with today was conditional, but if we had enough of an environment, we very well could see a strong tornado. So we need to watch this storm very closely as it continues to move to the east-northeast. We have Stormchaser Connor Croft with us as well. He is actually right next to this storm right now. He is currently sitting back, waiting to see what happens with this particular thunderstorm. One of the biggest problems, though, with this particular tornado warning is that there is a lot of rain around it. So storm chasers, or even if you live in this area, it's going to be extremely hard to see any sort of tornado with this, since we are talking about a lot of rain wrapped around this area of rotation, which the rotation's right in here, and then all that red and yellow, that is all moderate to heavy rainfall that's falling. So that means that if there is a tornado, it is going to be rain wrapped. So if you're in this area, again, this is just to the west, southwest, and southwest of the Hattiesburg area, make sure that you're seeking shelter immediately, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible in an interior room of your home or building. That is like a basement, a storm shelter, anything like that, because again, this has some pretty strong rotation right now. Winds going toward the radar are quite strong, and this is not looking good. This is the latest velocity scan. We have very strong winds right now going toward the radar, and that could definitely be a sign that we could have something strong developing. Correlation coefficient is not depicting anything yet, but the radar's 2 minutes behind. Again, if you know anybody in this area, make sure that they are aware of this. This is a very strong area of rotation. We could see a strong tornado come out of this if it ends up developing. I am currently keeping a very close eye on reports as well, trying to see if this correlation coefficient updates here. It's still a couple minutes behind. The velocities are updated as of 2 minutes ago. Again, strong area of rotation. This could develop into something strong. I am still looking for updates here. Yes, this is live. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is going toward Purvis, Mississippi. Again, this is just to the southwest of Hattiesburg. Or Hattiesburg. I'm not sure which pronunciation is correct, but again, this is in southern Mississippi. Strong area of rotation, and a tornado is very possible here over the next few minutes as this storm moves to the east-northeast. Again, we have Connor Croft, Storm Chaser, with us. He is next to this storm. He is literally actually in the storm right now. He's going through some of the rain, but he is going to be right on this storm. And obviously, again, there's a lot of rain around this. It is a very rain-wrapped area of rotation. Notice that if there is a tornado, it's going to be located right in here. There is a ton of rain surrounding this, so it's going to be very hard to see if there's an actual tornado on the ground, at least in person, but on radar it's going to be much easier. We have a pretty good look at this right now. Again, just west southwest of the Hattiesburg area. This is going toward Purvis specifically, and Interstate 59 will eventually be in the track of this. But again, we don't usually see dark blues like this that often on velocities. Now, granted, we're looking a bit higher up into the atmosphere since the radar site is a bit further up to the north, but with that being said, it's definitely a strong area of rotation right now. And this is the latest velocity scan. No correlation coefficient drop as of right now, but that rotation still remaining pretty strong. And again, that's moving to the east-northeast toward Hattiesburg. If you're in that area, make sure that you're seeking shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. If you're just southwest, again, in Hattiesburg, you don't have to seek shelter. This warning is not included for you right now. And it's very possible it weakens before it gets there. But with that being said, this has been an intensifying storm for probably the last 20 to 30 minutes. We do have another area of rotation, by the way, north of the Richton area. This one right now, not really too concerned about yet, but it is going to be something to monitor as that moves towards Waynesboro. Those areas back up near Waynesboro and Chatham, be mindful of that. This storm moving also more east-northeast. It'll probably go in between the two towns, but that is also another pocket of rotation that we're watching pretty closely. Again, strong pocket of rotation in southern Mississippi, and again, I'm not ruling out a strong tornado with this if it ends up intensifying. I am going to go to Connor Croft here for just a second. I do want to see what he's saying. Connor's pretty much almost in the storm.
It really is ramping up there.
I think it's doing it now. Yeah, I'm getting
Hattiesburg? Is it Hattiesburg?
I'm getting it. Where's this road at? This one right here? Yeah.
Again, Connor's pretty much inside of the storm right now. I mean, he's like in the little inflow notch. There isn't much of an inflow, but it's there. It's very rain-wrapped area of rotation. It's not like a definitive on radar one. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is what it looks like on radar. Again, strong area of rotation near Route 13. Again, these are the winds going toward the radar. These are winds going away from the radar. Typical cyclonic rotation. Again, that's going to be moving toward the Hattiesburg area in southern Mississippi. We got a new radar scan on this. Let's go to that. This is the latest radar scan. Again, strong pocket of rotation right now developing. This is just off to the west of Pine Grove, Pine Ridge, Oklahoma, and as well as the Purvis area in Mississippi, southeast of Columbia. Go to the correlation coefficient here. Again, still no CC drop, but we have strong rotation right now. This, again, could drop a tornado at any time. If you are in this warning just to the southwest of the Hattiesburg area in southern Mississippi, seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. This is, again, a dangerous storm that is currently in progress that could drop a tornado at any time. Yeah, this is live with Connor. I'm just seeing if he's saying anything, but we're gonna go back to the radar again in a moment. Gonna lose his reception a little bit here. And this is the live radar. And this is currently moving to the east-northeast, tight area of rotation, currently located northeast of the Pine Bur area, moving east-northeast toward Hattiesburg. We have another unwarned area of rotation north of Richton. This is not an imminent tornado risk, but it is going to be monitored closely as that continues to track out to the east-northeast. Again, it's not a tornado-warned cell, but that rotation's also been picking up as of recently. We're still going to monitor the storm very closely. Again, that's what it looks like right now. It looks like Connor is going into a bit of a more open area.
Maybe I can see here. Anything, chat? Anything? Nothing. We're right next to the couplet, man. Just no way to see it.
Yeah.
Here's the latest radar scan, just came in. This is what we're looking at now. So again, still strong winds going toward the radar. The velocities have been an issue going away from the radar, and we still have an area of rotation here. It's not nearly as strong as the latest scan. We will still watch it closely as this continues to track east-northeast. But again, currently Connor is pretty much right next to that area of circulation, so we'll see if he sees anything, but so far he's not seen anything. The winds have been extraordinarily calm where he is. He's on the calmer side, though, of the velocities.
Directly to the north.
Go back to him. He's pretty much right next to it. If you're just tuning in, this is a tornado warning in parts of southern Mississippi, just southwest of the Hattiesburg metro area. Mainly includes the Purvis area, Pine Grove, and Pine Ridge. Again, if you're in this warning, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. It's pretty interesting. The winds are extremely calm, though, where he is. I'm pretty sure he's on the back side of where the rotation is, but I might be wrong. I'm looking at his location tracker, and it looks like he's just on the back side of where the rotation is.
Wait, what's that? What is that? Oh, I think I got it. Back it up. Yep, I got it. I got it.
All right, apparently
I
Connor
don't know
has
if it's on
something.
the ground or not. I can see the lowering.
He sees the lowering.
How far north are you off that road?
Far, not too far. I gotta go forward. Okay, I got it though. Got the lowering. I just need to clear it.
All right, Connor sees a lowering. So again, if you're in this warning, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. We'll go back to him in a second. This is what it looks like right now. Again, that's your area of rotation, moving east-northeast toward Purvis. Again, Hattiesburg, not in the warning, but you need to be mindful of this storm. Connor at least sees some sort of lowering. We didn't see it. It's likely just off to his left of his camera. We'll go back to him in a second. But he's going right for it right now. And these are some strong winds going toward the radar. So if a tornado develops, it could, again, be on the stronger side of things. Flash of
Right
lightning.
here, man. I saw it for a second.
This radar scan at the bottom right for me is a little bit behind, by the way. Just an FYI. But the rotation has strengthened on the
I had it
latest
for a
scan.
second, I think.
Connor, again, is like next to the rotation. Winds are now picking up. So he's definitely very close to wherever
I
it
don't
is.
know. I just I saw the lowering from a corner, and now I think I'm like under it. So I can't make out the detail anymore.
There's no rotation in Illinois, by the way.
It looks looser.
Your weather's not expected there.
It does.
It might be like it tight briefly stop.
I'm in the RFD now.
A lot more mergers now to the east of this thing.
Getting the rear flank downdraft, which is typically on the back side of the rotation, but there's wind's definitely picking up right now.
It's like another.
There he is. And again, Connor's like in the center of this storm, where the rotation is. Real quickly, back on the radar, velocities did not update. They will update in a second. Again, area of rotation is now moving toward Pine Grove. It's going to be right about here now. I'll zoom in a little bit here to a couple of these roads, but it's near the Bay Creek Road area, going toward Hattiesburg. Again, Hattiesburg's not currently in this tornado warning, but you need to be very mindful. It is moving in your direction. Rotation did strengthen on the latest scan, but we do not have that update, but it should be coming in again in hopefully 30 seconds or so. Again, this is on track for Pine Ridge, Oklahoma, and as well as Interstate 59, Purvis, and Pine Grove.
Thanks, Andrew.
But Connor's now really on the back side of the storm. Rain's gonna be very heavy. Back to the live radar. Latest velocity scan still showing our area of rotation west of Pine Grove. This is, again, currently moving off to the east. Yeah, if you're in this warning, make sure you're staying in your safe place. That is an interior room of your home or building, away from windows on the lowest floor possible. Interior room of your home or building. Again, a basement, a bathroom, a closet. This is again for those in Pine Ridge, Pine Grove, and Purvis, in parts of southern Mississippi. And again, this is an active tornado warning, strong area of rotation. It'll be going toward Arnold Line as well, and eventually going toward the Hattiesburg area if it ends up holding together. Yeah, this is a strong pocket of rotation right now, moving to the east-northeast. Seek shelter away from windows on the lowest floor possible if you're included in this warning. What radar am I using? I'm using the one that's near Jackson, the KDGX one. Yeah, that's the one. I believe that's near Jackson. My geography is right. Connor right now is driving through a bunch of rain. Again, at the bottom right of your screen, you can see that in live motion. He is currently trying to catch back up to that area of rotation. He was getting a lot of the rear flank downdraft on the backside of the storm. Winds were definitely picking up, so it is definitely rotating to some extent. And also, we have a new flash flood warning behind this. A ton of flash flood warnings are in effect, by the way. And you can see on Radar Omega, we got 3 different storm chasers in the vicinity. So if there is a tornado, definitely going to have a higher likelihood of getting some sort of observation with that, since there are multiple storm chasers in the vicinity. Here's the latest radar scan. A little bit of weakening here near the Pine Grove area. Again, the storm's moving to the east-northeast. It definitely could be recycling. This is the live radar feed. Notice how much rain is around this. Actually, we are getting a bit of an opening. It is possible that we do get a little bit of recycling on this storm. Notice again, we do have a little like inflow notch trying to develop. Sort of a little hook trying to develop. It's not overly impressive, but with environments like this where there's a lot of convection, a little opening like this can definitely make a difference on a area of rotation. So we'll definitely have to watch that closely. Lots of lightning as well, which will obviously have a lot of lightning with all these thunderstorms, highly electrified storms across the board. Lots of flash flood warnings, by the way. But again, this storm right now moving east-northeast toward Hattiesburg. We do have a cyclone port live cam. This is the University of Southern Mississippi. This is a live cam view there. This is not in the tornado warning, but it's just to the east of it. And you notice some of the lightning in the background. Good amount of traffic as well. We are at rush hour at this point, so definitely a dangerous time to be on the roadways with an active tornado warning. Doesn't really include much of Interstate 59 other than near Purvis, but area of rotation currently still far to the west of Interstate 59. And this is going to be moving toward Route 589 as well. Tornado warning goes, by the way, for 48 minutes. Storm is moving east at about 40 miles per hour. And current ETAs is Purvis around, it says 425. Definitely going to be a little bit later than that. Probably about 435 or so. Hattiesburg, excuse me, right around about 435, 440 probably. So if you're in the Hattiesburg area, be mindful. This storm will be there in about 10 minutes. We'll see if that rotation holds up. It's entirely possible. We'll have to wait and see, though, on this. New radar scan should come in here in a second. This is, again, live with Connor Croft.
I mean,
tons of rain falling right now.
Ground, wouldn't have been able to see it from here. I think we had a visual of the base for like maybe 5 seconds when I came around that corner. I saw it on the camera. I'll have to go back and review that. I'm not saying it was a tornado. I'm just saying I think I actually got to, see the base of the storm for a second.
Got a new radar scan. We'll go to that. This is what it looks like on the latest radar scan. This is the area of rotation now. It's going to be located northwest of Purvis, and it's going to be entirely rain-wrapped if there is a tornado. It is still a very difficult area of rotation to see due to the fact that there is a ton of rain around this. I mean, we're talking about a lot of yellow and red, which means moderate to heavy rainfall all around this. So if you're in this area, don't try to be looking outside for it unless you are a trained storm chaser. This is the area of rotation, though, that we are the most concerned about right now. This is, again, moving toward the Hattiesburg area. We might get a tornado warning if this rotation does continue to the level it's at. We might get something in Hattiesburg. It's been a little bit weaker, though, in the last couple of scans. Not nearly as unison, but it is moving toward the Hattiesburg area. And if we go back over to the Mobile radar site, not saying this one will be looking any better, but that's the area of rotation. So it's actually a little bit better, a little bit easier to see there, but that's the rotation. Again, it's just off to the west right now of 589, northwest of Purvis. Again, tornado is entirely possible here. If we get some recycling on this storm, we'll have to watch that very closely. Again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, on the lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building if you are just southwest of the Hattiesburg area. This will be moving toward Interstate 59 and as well as Route 98 over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Let's see if we have any reports on Twitter as well. And Connor Croft, Stormchaser, with us. He is currently pretty much in the middle of this storm. So, again, we have a pretty good eyes out there right now on this storm. This is the pocket rotation that we're the most concerned about. Let me zoom out a little bit here. There we go. I'll go back to Connor here in a second. All right, I'm not seeing any new reports as of now on this storm. Again, this is moving toward Hattiesburg, currently impacting areas near Purvis, and as well as the Pine Ridge area. I'm going to go back to Connor until we have a new radar scan. This is what he's doing right now. Again, he's currently driving through the storm. He's trying to catch up to that rotation. Storm is moving at about 40 miles per hour, so it might take him a few minutes. We have a new radar scan. This is the latest radar scan on this tornado warning. Area of rotation's broadened out a little bit here. Again, it's entirely possible that we do see some recycling on this as it moves toward Hattiesburg. Again, I still urge you to stay in your safe place if you're in this warning. It's entirely possible that we do get some sort of recycling and perhaps a tornado down the road as this continues to move toward the Hattiesburg area and eventually Interstate 59. Multiple storm chasers in the area, as I mentioned before, so if there is a tornado that is on the ground and not radar confirmed, it's entirely possible one of them sees it. And as well as obviously having Carter Croft on the backside of the storm. That'll also be some evidence. This is a live currently, this is actually live. This is a cyclone port on radar Omega just to the east of this tornado warning near Interstate 59. So if we do see, if there is a tornado, we'll also see it probably here as well. But with that being said, there is definitely a lot of rain around this storm. So that's really one of the biggest issues right now. With the visibility of being able to see something. But that's another view that we have from the Forest County, I believe, emergency management area. And that's here near Interstate 59, just east of Oak Grove. And again, your rotation is quite rain-wrapped right now. It's back in the center of a lot of that rain. So that's the rotation comparatively to all the rain around it. So again, very rain-wrapped area of rotation. We got a ton of lightning across the board, so a highly electrified storm. There is some sort of correlation sometimes when we have a lot of lightning, or when the lightning starts to kind of dwindle down over time. We actually sometimes get a little bit more of an increased chance of a tornado, but we still have a lot of lightning out there, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Let's go back to the velocities here. We're going to go back to, we'll stay on the velocities and we'll go back to Connor until we have a new radar scan on this.
Gotta maintain my pace.
This is kind of getting interesting. I'm going to go back to radar in a second. No, we'll go back to it now. This is the latest radar scan. And interesting development here. We actually have an area of rotation that's attempting to develop now further to the south. So this is a little bit more on the southern side of where the initial rotation was. It was kind of tracking a bit more up here. It's trying to recycle down here just northwest of the Purvis area. Again, still broad. It's not really strong right now, but we still have some high winds going toward the radar. Winds going away from the radar have been a bit weaker for the most part. This is the area of rotation that we're watching for, though. That right there. Obviously, there's still a lot of broad areas here with all those dull colors, but if it's able to tighten, we could very easily get a tornado out of this as it moves towards Interstate 59. But again, that's the velocities. The correlation coefficient is showing something, but I'm definitely not thinking that's a tornado at this point. But that's what we're looking at right now. This area would be what we're watching for. It's actually a little bit more out in front of it now. A little bit less, or this is actually the 430 radar scan, so we're not... Just disregard what I just said. The rain's actually, it's still rain wrapped. The radar's 4 minutes behind, though. That's the problem. Velocities are a couple minutes ahead on the actual radar. Again, if you are in the Hattiesburg area, still stay very well aware here that this storm is moving toward your area, and we might see an extension on this tornado warning if the rotation starts to ramp up again, which it is beginning to do that again. And this is currently moving east-northeast. Stay in your safe place, away from windows on the lowest floor possible. This is, again, Connor Croft in the middle of this storm. He is catching up to that rotation right now.
That's my goal.
Stay safe, Iz. Stay safe. We do have a new warning, by the way. There is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning for the Hattiesburg area. Another area of rotation still trying to ramp up back up northeast of the Richton area. We were talking about this earlier. We'll watch this and see if it develops into anything, but it is still struggling a little bit. New severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds for the Hattiesburg area. This rotation is still trying to strengthen right now. That's your area of rotation. The winds going away from the radar have actually noticeably gotten a little bit stronger, and the winds away from the radar have been, or going, sorry, this is going away from the radar, the red, going toward the radar, that is still staying at the same intensity as it has been. And again, this is the pocket of rotation that we need to watch for. It has actually come together a little bit more here over the last couple of minutes, so we're keeping a very close eye on this. It is still very rain-wrapped at this point, so it's going to be very difficult to see for even storm chasers, and as well as if you're in this area, so please do not try to be looking for this. Stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Even if we don't have a tornado, we are definitely going to be talking about at least some level of damaging winds. This is a live camera view just east of this. This is a cyclone port on radar Omega, and this is a live cam right now just east of this tornado warning. It's near Interstate 59, so we'll be watching this closely as well to see if we do have any sort of lowering, but again, it is a very hard area of rotation to see due to the fact we are talking about a lot of rain. That is where the live cam is in correlation to the rotation, so that's still a good, let's check this out. It's about 6 miles away as of the last radar scan at 4:34. So it's probably about 4 miles or so away now. So we are keeping a close eye on that. But again, rotation still remains pretty strong right now. Let's go back to Connor here briefly.
Yeah, it's trying to wrap back up. Probably going to extend the tornado warning. Looks like they just issued a severe warning.
Correlation coefficient, by the way, not showing anything as of now on this. As of 4:34. 4:36, also not showing anything yet. Seeing if we have any reports as well. All right, latest radar scan just came in on this tornado warning. This is the latest on the velocities. Still have that area of rotation. It's still in somewhat of a broad level of rotation. This is the winds going toward the radar, winds going away from the radar. That is like typical, again, cyclonic or counterclockwise rotation. And this is the area of rotation that we're watching for. It'd be right in between the two green and red colors. If they are really tight together and strong, that would indicate a tornado likely on the ground. We don't have that yet. We are still kind of in a broad stage here. This is going to be moving into Dixie near Interstate 59. It's likely going to impact the southern side of Hattiesburg. There are 3 different Stormchasers on radar Omega in this area, by the way. So again, if there is a tornado, it is likely that we will get some sort of report from that here in the next few minutes. They are all literally in intercepting range here along Interstate 59. So that's obviously at least some sort of good thing there, that we at least have some people trying to see if there is something ongoing. Connor Croft is right now catching up to this area of rotation. He is at the bottom right of your screen. The Stormchaser that's with us, he is in a lot of the rain, but he's catching up pretty quickly to this area of rotation. So if there is anything, again, we'll at least get some sort of report on that. Again, the rotation is located just north of Purvis, moving toward Dixie in southern Mississippi. Again, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible if you are included in this tornado warning. Again, tornado could very easily drop at any time. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning for the Hattiesburg area and Dixie. That goes until 35 more minutes from now, so until about 5:15 Central Time, and that is for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. We may get a new tornado warning on this. We will see what the rotation looks like on the next scan. But as of now, they have not issued a new tornado warning, but it's entirely possible that we get one here in a couple of minutes. Yeah, unfortunately, the radar site back down in eastern Louisiana is out. That's the one, I believe that would be closer than the one up near Jackson. We have a radar site over here as well, and this one actually has a good view on it as well. So again, rotation being located just to the east there of Pine Ridge. New radar scan on the Jackson radar site, still showing that rotation. It's not tight and confined, but it is definitely still there. We do definitely have still a little bit of rotation located over near the Oklahoma area going toward Dixie. Rotation still in the broad sense of things, not tight and confined, but it definitely still exists. The cyclone port over near the Forest area along Route 11 just went out, but we do have one still in the Hattiesburg area. This is the University of Southern Mississippi. I doubt we're going to really see anything from up here unless this storm takes a massive left-hand turn, but we'll keep a close eye on that. Rotation is about to be crossing Interstate 59 in the next probably 3 minutes or so. So be mindful if you are a driver on the roadway right now. Obviously, it's rush hour. It's going to be busy. This storm is about to cross over Interstate 59 here momentarily. I believe Connor is now in, yeah, he's in Purvis now, so he's getting pretty close to this area of rotation. That is your area of rotation. Go back to Connor real quick, see if he's, or maybe not. He's breaking up a little bit. I'll go back to him in a minute once we get a little bit more signal. I'm not sure if he's saying anything right now about the storm. And for the record, the storm net probabilities on this are about 20% in the next hour of there being a tornado on this. That's an experimental tool, but something to keep in mind. Yeah, we got literally 3 Stormchasers in this right now. Alright, let's go back to him real quick, see if he's saying anything on this. We do have a new radar scan that just came out. Again, Connor's still catching up to the rotation, but this is the area of rotation. It's now outside of the tornado warning. We will see if they issue a new one, but the rotation is still in a broad sense of things, even though we still have some strong winds right now going toward the radar. Going away from the radar still remain at least the weaker side of things for the time being, but there is definitely still rotation here. We still have rotation. It's broad, but it definitely could strengthen as this moves further to the east. It is currently along Interstate 59, and it's about to be going over Route 98, and eventually going toward Richton would be really the main location on the track of this. After that, if you're in the Hattiesburg area, still stay very weather aware. It is not far from you. It's going to be just to the south, and if we do end up getting a tornado, it could take a left-hand turn and go up that direction. That happens sometimes, but yeah, that's a really short-term sort of thing that could happen. It's a very low chance, but it definitely is a possibility. Tornado watch, I believe, just got condensed, so it no longer includes areas further to the north of this massive cluster of showers, and also thunderstorms. This entire area no longer in the tornado watch. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Mobile, and as well as Gulfport and Hattiesburg are all still included in this tornado watch. The tornado watch goes until 9 o'clock tonight, so just an update on the tornado watch. Just got condensed. All right, let's see if Connor is... He's lagging out a little bit still. Signal's gonna be a little bit bad in the area that he's in, but he's still getting pretty close to it. Again, rotation right now located near Dixie, Mississippi, and this is currently moving off to the east-northeast toward the 4 Points area, just south of Hattiesburg. Again, if you're included in this tornado warning, stay in your safe place, away from windows, and on the lowest floor possible. It is already outside of the tornado warning, so if you're back near like Pine Grove, Pine Ridge, you no longer have to be in your safe place. We will see if they issue a new tornado warning. I would honestly stay in your safe place if you're included anywhere near Route 98, just south of Hattiesburg, as there is still some rotation there. And also some strong winds are likely. Let's go back to Connor here. I believe he's breaking up again. A low signal area. Here's the latest velocity scan. Yeah, we still got strong winds here. Definitely still have rotation. Still on the broad side of things, but that is definitely still rotation. Let's go to the reflectivity. And notice, again, the rotation is in here. It is still a rain-wrapped pocket of rotation. We got 3 different storm chasers in the vicinity on Radar Omega, so again, if there is anything, we'll probably get a report. Still getting a little bit of probably some contamination there, but that is the area of rotation that is located, again, just south of Hattiesburg. The tornado warning was just canceled since the area of rotation is outside of the new area. The area of rotation is now outside of the tornado warning, so the tornado warning was canceled. Again, the rotation is still south of Hattiesburg. We don't have a tornado warning on this right now, but it is entirely possible if this continues to intensify, we could get one down the road. Let's see if we have any other new reports on this. I haven't seen anything confirmed in terms of debris, by the way. I've seen a lot of people talking about debris. There's been no really confirmation of debris. The rotation is still not tight. It's likely just contamination. No new reports as of right now on this. Again, we'll keep you posted. But again, if you're in Lamar County, you no longer have to be in your safe place. That tornado warning was just canceled. But yeah, still broad rotation. We'll see if it strengthens. Again, it's been broad for the most part. It was much stronger at the very beginning of when we went live. It's still, we still got strong winds, without a doubt. These, again, the winds going toward the radar, pretty strong. Let's measure the winds here on radar. And we are looking a little bit higher up into the atmosphere. We're probably looking closer where the cloud base is. So just kind of keep that in mind. But notice the winds right now, around 55, 60 miles per hour going toward the radar, 25, 30 miles per hour going away from the radar. So the winds are definitely still strong there. The problem right now is that we just still have broad rotation here. It hasn't really tightened to the point where there would be a tornado, but we are definitely going to still keep a close eye on this. It is just south right now of Hattiesburg. Here's a live cam view just off to the north of this pocket of rotation. I'm not currently seeing anything in this area. Obviously, we are a little bit north of the wind and north of the rotation, but this is a live view just north of that near Forest. This is also out of the University of Southern Mississippi. Notice the wind picking up a little bit, some lightning, but they're mainly in now the flash flooding threat. The storm itself is just a little bit south right now of the Hattiesburg area. That's the area of rotation. And this, again, has been the strongest area of rotation that we've seen all day today. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is a day that was either going to be a high ceiling or a low floor. And thus far, it's been a low floor, which is good. We haven't had a whole lot of rotation, but that's really been the main storm thus far with rotation. Let's go back to this other radar site. Got some rotation as well that's going to be crossing into Alabama here soon. This is just south of Waynesboro in eastern parts of Mississippi. So keep that in mind. That'll be going toward the Chatham area and eventually going toward Jackson in Alabama. And then this area of rotation, still got rotation right now. That's near Dixie. This is near Route 98. That's the pocket of rotation. Not tornado warned, but it's very possible that this does go back to tornado warned if we end up getting a strengthening of rotation. But this is the Mobile radar site, so we're on the one that's south of it now, so that should limit any contamination as well. Yeah, that right there is the area of rotation. Zoom back out again here. Another concern were the storms that would be coming off the coast. We haven't really had a whole lot of problems with the storms coming off the Gulf Coast yet. Really, the only problem so far has been these two storms. There's really two in particular. One is yet to be warned, but it hasn't really been that intense yet in terms of rotation. The other one just south of Hattiesburg has been warned, obviously. That is really the more concerning one at this time, but the one that's back south of Waynesboro definitely could intensify as it moves east. That right there, that's what we're watching for right now. And this is Connor right now. He's driving right through the backside of the storm right now. Wrong screen. The rotation area passed me. I'm glad it's past you. All right, let's go back to here. New radar scan should be coming in here in a moment. Back to the Jackson radar site real quick, see what that looks like. Yeah, this is the latest Jackson radar scan, and still got some broad rotation in here. The winds, again, going toward the radar have been pretty strong for quite a while, and that at least means that we have damaging winds here near 4 points. But with that being said, there is still some lacking rotation going away from the radar, which has been really the problem this entire time. But notice it's still a little bit broad. We'll still keep a close eye on it. It's going to be going toward Good Luck, Runnelstown, and eventually going toward Richton in southern Mississippi. Yeah, if you're in this area, not in a tornado warning, but obviously in a severe thunderstorm warning with damaging winds being the main concern, stay very weather aware as the storm continues to move to the east-northeast. I believe we are going to get a possibly a new warning on this for severe weather again. A new severe thunderstorm warning may be issued on this in a second, just out in front of it. Yeah, the rotation's beginning to tighten up again. This is, again, near Route 98. We might get a new tornado warning on this. It's trying. No new tornado warning as of right now, but it is possible that we get a new one in a few minutes. Rotation is beginning to tighten again. That is near 4 points just south of Hattiesburg, and it's right along Route 98. Again, this is moving right now east-northeast. McSwain, Richton, Brewer, Good Hope, all those areas will be in the track of this here pretty soon. And stay very mindful of this storm. And again, this is in southern Mississippi right now. We have another pocket of rotation on the east side of Mississippi. That'll be crossing into Alabama, south of Waynesboro. That rotation we are also watching closely. That one's not imminent for a tornado warning, but it is possible that that does intensify as it crosses into Alabama. Hey, DK for the $5 super chat. What are we expecting in Montgomery, Alabama? Montgomery should be primarily just rain. There's actually I don't know if Montgomery's in it, but there is a moderate risk of excessive rainfall, so flooding is definitely a possibility. But really the biggest concern would be the flash flooding potential. The severe weather threat is on the low side. Thank you for your $5 super chat. Yeah, Connor's still behind the storm. He's catching up. There's a lot of rain, obviously, so it's going to be hard. And hydroplaning, obviously a concern on the roadways, as there's a lot of water on the roadways, and that's anywhere from Interstate 59 back into Route 98. And the rain's falling everywhere here across the state. It's going to be a really hectic day when it comes to the overall amount of rainfall that's falling. There will be excessive rainfall for sure in many areas, which will lead to flash flooding, and that is obviously something that is concerning. Turn around, don't drown if you're on the roadways. Let's go back to, we're going to zoom back out, and I'm going to go back to the Jackson radar site. The other one should update momentarily. That rotation's still trying to come together. That's now just southeast of Hattiesburg. Definitely have damaging winds for sure, but it's trying to come together and rotate and perhaps produce a tornado at some point here soon. And then again, this is from 4:48, so we're about 4 minutes behind on the radar. It should come in a second. But just to the south of Waynesboro in eastern Mississippi, this is our other pocket of rotation that we're watching closely. That could potentially develop as it moves into western Alabama. But this is really the main one right now, just southeast of Hattiesburg, near a pretty populated metro area in southern parts of Mississippi. By the way, this is live. Connor Croft is getting closer to the pocket of rotation near Hattiesburg. So we wait that new radar scan. Oklahoma City is going to potentially actually see some snow flurries tonight. But other than that, no severe weather. I clicked the wrong button again. He's traveling up Interstate 59, I believe, so he's going to be approaching Route 98 and eventually going eastbound on that rotation. Here's the latest radar scan. Rotation's now located up near 4 points. Again, not super impressive still. It's been trying to tighten up. We'll see if it recycles, but it has had some problems trying to tighten here. Again, this is right now moving east-northeast, and we also have another pocket of rotation developing here. Much weaker velocities, but that is also trying to develop. That's north of New Augusta. And then back up near the Erid area, just west of Chatham, Alabama. This area of wind is ongoing. We have a little bit of rotation trying to develop, but it is definitely still weak and unorganized, but that could organize as it moves east. So we actually now have we have 3 different areas of rotation. I'll circle all 3, but these are the 3 areas of rotation that we're watching. One just southeast of Hattiesburg in southern Mississippi, one to the southwest of Richton, and then the other one west of Chatham, Alabama, south of the Waynesboro area. And by the way, today's live stream is brought to you by Radar Omega. I'm on the wrong button again. Today's live stream is brought to you by Radar Omega. You can download Radar Omega with the top link in the description below on iOS and Android. That is the weather app that we're currently using. It has a bunch of live cams, especially down here in the southeast, that you can watch during severe weather events or even during nice days. There's a ton of them on here. In addition to that, they have live satellite data, radar. You can get watches and warnings on here, customize everything. They also have computer models on here, so you can do your own forecast or get a future radar easily with the HRRR model, which is highly reliable. You can check this out with the top link in the description below. It's on iOS and Android. You can download it for only $8.99. It's a fantastic deal. Great app, has everything that you need to be able to forecast weather, and I appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. It's also the link pinned in chat. Highly recommend it, by the way. We literally use it on every live stream. It's a fantastic app. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Again, 3 pockets of rotation that we're watching. Let me erase this one. I'm going to keep all 3 of these areas circled just so you have an idea of where the rotation is. But those are the 3 different pockets of rotation. Again, we got one northwest of Beaumont. We got another one southeast of Hattiesburg that's been weakening a little bit on the last couple of scans. And then one west of Chatham, Alabama, which is currently moving east, and it's about to cross into Alabama. I love Radar Omega too, Christy. Thank you, Matthew, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that a lot. I'm a meteorology student in Western Kentucky. That's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. What year are you in? What are you going for? Are you going for broadcast? Are you going for behind the scenes? Yeah, Connor's having a tough time catching up to this rotation. He is driving through a ton of rain. The storm itself is moving east at about 40 miles per hour, but it actually might be going faster than that now. Oh, it's actually going 60 miles per hour now. This storm was going pretty slow. Now it's going 60 miles per hour to the east. Gives you an idea of how storm chasing can be unpredictable as well. And in this sort of environment, like Mississippi, for example, it's a tough area to storm chase with all the trees and stuff. But notice that storm sped up pretty fast, and that's just southeast of Hattiesburg. Broadcasting in year 3. Nice. I'm in year 1 behind the scenes. Nice. So everybody's different. Everybody's different. I'm obviously in the broadcasting field, so. There isn't any need for a tornado warning right now. We don't really have any definitive pockets of rotation that are imminent for a tornado. I mean, we have 3 areas of rotation. They're all broad right now. There's a live cyclone port on Radar Omega near the coastline. It's in Jackson County. But yeah, we do have actually this rotation up here. It's beginning to get a little bit stronger. Winds going away from the radar, pretty strong. Still weak winds going toward the radar. This is crossing over the Mississippi and Alabama border right now, just south of Waynesboro. Yeah, that pocket rotation, it's been trying to go. Let's check out the reflectivity, though. Yeah, so if there's any sort of tornado risk, it's going to be right over 45, but I do think this is more of a damaging wind threat right now. We haven't really seen any tight circulization here across areas near Route 45. That's going toward Chatham, St. Stephen's, and the Jackson area. Long-term, the Grove Hill, Monroeville, and Beatrice areas will be in the track of that. Rotation that's southeast the Hattiesburg area is definitely beginning to weaken. We do still have some rotation, though, ongoing near New Augusta. So 2 different pockets of rotation there. We have 3 across the board. None of these are tornado warned at this time. We have a tornado possible, obviously, in any of these storms, but other than that, it's currently nothing too significant. We'll see if any of these do develop, though. I would say the one that is most or furthest along right now is the one along the Alabama and Mississippi border, but I still think that's more damaging winds right now. It's probably not rotating a whole lot. Maybe in like the cloud base, maybe we're getting some sort of wall cloud lowering. And StormNet has actually just upgraded the probability of a tornado to 20% on this particular storm that's back up west of Chatham. StormNet is an experimental tool, but just an idea of the probabilities of tornadoes in the short term. Atmosphere analytics. This is, again, live where Connor is. Again, he's currently on the backside of these storms. It is going to be hard for him to catch up to all this activity since these storms are now moving at 60 miles per hour. They were going at 40 when he was on that tornado warning cell. All right, let's go back to the live radar. Severe thunderstorm warning, probably not going to continue on this storm. We are actually seeing a weakening trend on that Hattiesburg rotation. It is weakened quite a bit. And then the other storm that's over northwest of Beaumont is still moving to the east-northeast. That rotation at this point has really not been overly impressive, but it still does exist. And then our other storm that has some rotation is back up near Chatham. And that pocket rotation is producing at least some gusty winds, but we also have a chance there for some sort of tornado risk as that continues to push into Alabama. But obviously a lot of rainfall currently falling across this entire area. Notice, again, we have a lot of different showers and thunderstorms ongoing. And with this train of rain that is falling, it's going to lead to flash flooding over the next several hours. There's a moderate risk of excessive rainfall across areas in Alabama, Georgia. We can actually pull it up on here. Let me go to the outlooks here. This is for today. There's a moderate risk of excessive rainfall that stretches from Montgomery into the Columbus area of Alabama, into the Macon area of western Georgia, and as well as into eastern and southeastern parts of Mississippi. So this is an area that we need to watch for very closely over the next several hours, as there will be excessive rainfall, which will lead to flooding. That'll flood on roadways, and you want to be very mindful, because if you're traveling tonight, that can cause some travel impacts. Many of you might be going on spring break. Obviously, be very mindful if you're traveling tonight. Turn around, don't drown. It is not worth driving through flooded roadways, but that does extend all the way through Atlanta. And then also, there is a slight risk outside of this, still meaning that there is a chance there for some flash flooding. We do have a flash flood warning actually in effect for the Hattiesburg area now, and that is due to the threat of flash flooding. All right, let's go back to the live radar. Rotation has been weakening on these storms back over near the Richmond area. Rotation is attempting to strengthen over near Chatham. This is going now into western Alabama. We're going to have to watch this closely, because that rotation's definitely been intensifying a little bit here over the last few minutes. I believe Connor, he is he's no longer in Purvis. He's southeast of Hattiesburg. He's still quite a ways away from the 2 pockets of rotation that were there initially. New StormNet update should be coming in here in about a minute. We'll see what the new probabilities are of there being a tornado. By the way, thank you for everybody that subscribed. We are now up to 112,000 subscribers. We've just crossed that. Wow. Any severe storms tomorrow or Sunday? We do have a risk of severe weather tomorrow. I will briefly go over that since we're in between radar scans. We do have a slight risk of severe weather from southern North Carolina back into northern Florida. This goes all the way through Palm Coast into Wilmington, North Carolina. Main concern right now is going to be damaging winds, and also a few tornadoes are possible tomorrow. There is actually a 5% tornado risk as well for tomorrow, like what we have today. So this goes from about Albany back into Wilmington. There is a chance I go live for this. We will see. I don't know. We'll just kind of see how it goes. But for the time being, I would say it's unlikely. It's going to be more of a late morning to the afternoon threat. But we will monitor that closely. But today's tornado risk does include a pretty large area as well, but we do have a 5% tornado risk that really is cut off at this point now, since this area is done pretty much with severe weather. But the 5% tornado risk still does include Montgomery, Columbus, and areas around those areas. Birmingham is in a 2% risk. It's a very low threat. I would say the main tornado risk, if there is going to be any, would be right in this area here for the next several hours. But that does go into southwest Georgia. So that's the tornado risk, at least for today into tonight. And then large hail damaging winds are still concerns, but large hail definitely not really that concerning at this point. I would say the more concerning feature will be damaging winds. And if you're just tuning in, we still have 2 pockets of rotation that we're watching. Neither of these are tornado warned, but just west of Chatham and just northwest of Beaumont. Still 2 pockets of rotation, both being broad, but the one that has really been the most impressive thus far is the one near Chatham. A little bit stronger. We will see if that develops into anything as it continues to move to the east. I know, Ro, it's crazy. You've been around forever. Seeing if we have any other reports. As of now, we do not. Yeah, I'm not seeing any new reports on these storms right now. Again, Connor currently inside the rain. This is his live view.
I'm actually dropping southeast of Hattiesburg right now.
Southeast?
Yeah.
I'm directly southeast of Hattiesburg right now. I'm on Highway 98 or whatever.
Kentucky's not on the risk.
Okay. I'm on that highway that goes southeast.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking I'm just gonna go to Beaumont.
Kentucky actually could see some snow tomorrow. I was originally going to make a video today, and then we had a tornado warning.
Yeah, I see that near Perp, like literally right back in Purvis.
Yeah, back in Purvis.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks if I have just being honest, looking at it, it looks like it may all be pretty much like on the front or north outflowy stuff, but
There is something way back southwest that looks very interesting.
yeah, that Franklinton looks interesting.
Got a couple interesting developments here on radar. Let's go back
I bet the shear is
here. So rotation's attempting to develop northwest of Beaumont. So we are watching that closely. And back up here near Chatham, the rotation is beginning to try to tighten here. It's trying. It's been trying for a while, but it is still trying to intensify a little bit. Still definitely more of a damaging wind threat, but we're going to have to watch this area closely near the Latin Hill area. That's going to be moving through Chatham, Alabama, and eventually toward Jackson. This is what the storm looks like on the reflectivity. I still think it's more of a damaging wind threat. We don't really have any organized cell structure here like we usually would with any supercell development, but with that being said, we very well could see some sort of tornado develop if this storm does organize. But this is, again, the live velocity. So, again, notice that's south of Millry, Alabama, just to the west of Chatham. That is moving to the east. Definitely more of damaging winds right now, but we very well could see a tornado risk develop if that ends up intensifying. And again, Tornado Watch does still include areas in southwest Alabama, southern parts of Mississippi, and eastern Louisiana until 9 o'clock Central Time. That's about 4 hours from now. The threat will probably go through about then, at least for the eastern side of this Tornado Watch. Really, the main concern at this point is going to be damaging winds and a couple of tornadoes. We've had issues, obviously, with the setup today. It was a potential that we could see like a strong tornado or two, but that threat is really diminished. We were watching mainly earlier today for any discrete supercells to develop and come out of the Gulf of Mexico with that moisture and start to rotate, and we just haven't really had a whole lot of that. We've had most of the storms being embedded in the cluster of storms back up to the north. All the storms that are back down near the coast have really not organized. There's a lot of rain, a lot of moisture, and a lot of storm coverage, and that has been the biggest issue with that tornado risk developing today has been the overall storm coverage across the board. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, notice just west of Chatham, area of rotation there, and then one near Beaumont, which is pretty weak. I would honestly count that one out for the time being. But the one near Chatham at this point has the most rotation out of any of the storms. I wouldn't say it's really even that much at this point. I would say it's more of a damaging wind threat, and that's right now moving to the east. Crestview, Florida. I'll check it out. Actually, yeah, we do have a little storm that has come off out of the Gulf of Mexico. Not seeing any rotation here, but might be something to watch. It's a bit far away from where the really good wind profiles are back out to the west, where we have a more favorable tornado risk, but that is a storm that we'll need to watch as it moves off to the north and east. I'd say for now, it's not overly concerning. But we'll watch that one closely as well. Go back to the Mobile radar site here. Yeah, let's go to this. I think this is the correct one. All right, we're on the live radar. There we go. Driving from Hattiesburg to Mobile, am I on the tornado risk? If you're right now in, or if you're actively driving, you technically are. The tornado risk is going till 9 o'clock for this entire area. So it's still a low tornado risk overall. It's definitely not that high. Yeah, I was gonna make a video. I was about to make a video. I was about to start making one, and then the tornado warning got issued. So, and I was watching the storm for a little while, for the record. Like, I was watching it. I was kind of like, maybe this will develop into something, and then we end up getting a tornado warning. Rotation is beginning to strengthen on the storm that's back up near Chatham. That area of rotation right there, this is beginning to strengthen a little bit. We're going to keep a close eye on it. Again, south of Millry, just off to the west of Chatham in western Alabama. I'm going to go back to the tornado possible screen, even though we don't have a warning there. That rotation is attempting to develop. At the bare minimum, we do have some gusty winds, or perhaps even near 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. But that would be the main concern right now for an imminent tornado risk. Still a low threat, but it definitely still exists. And here's the latest radar scan. And that is near the Chatham area. I don't know where Covington, Louisiana is, but if you're anywhere outside of the tornado watch, you're pretty much done for tonight. Maybe a couple more storms, but they should be ordinary, non-severe. Maybe isolated large hail. There's a couple of storms ongoing in North Texas, and there's still a marginal threat there. Yeah, there are storms ongoing in North Texas. I am aware of that. They're not really that crazy, though. They're pretty ordinary stuff. They might produce some isolated large hail, maybe some isolated damaging winds. I'd be surprised with anything else beyond that, though. That's what it looks like driving through all this rain in Mississippi.
Holy.
Connor is still pretty far away from that leading storm in southeast Mississippi. He's not in Hattiesburg, but he's a little bit further south and east than that. That's what it looks like driving in a ton of rain in Mississippi. It can be definitely dangerous. A lot of flashing lights. Friendly reminder, by the way, if you're just tuning in, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's the red button down below. And also make sure to like the stream if you found this informative thus far. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to leave those in the chat. I will be answering some. Yeah, there's a lot of rain here. All moderate to heavy rainfall southeast of Hattiesburg.
Like to get out of this rain so I can read some chat.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think Connor's gonna be able to outrace that. Bottom right of your screen, this is where he is. I believe he's near New Augusta now, but yeah, there's a ton of rain here. Still gonna watch this storm near New Augusta and Beaumont. Could potentially strengthen and rotate. Thank you, lovely sir. Still a decent threat building in the Gulf. Not really. Most of the storms, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, we have a lot of convection down here and a lot of rain, but we have really yet to see any supercells come off the water or even develop off the water. We've actually had one recently. This was back over in Florida, but the environment is not nearly as favorable for a tornado over here, at least this early. And so this storm is developing. It definitely could produce some gusty winds and small hail. This is not far from the Crestview area, but it's really not much as of right now. It's definitely just an ordinary thunderstorm, maybe a little strong. I would say really if we get any tornado risk for the next few hours, it's going to have to come out of these storms that are embedded in this large cluster that we have ongoing, which is anywhere from about Hattiesburg back into western Alabama near Chatham. Now the rotation near Chatham is weakened a little bit on the latest scan. Again, I think it's mostly damaging winds here. I'd be lying if I said there was high rotation. There really isn't. It's not even really rotating a whole lot. There's a little bit of rotation here. This is kind of what it looks like, but it's mostly strong winds for the most part. Some gusty winds here near the Chatham area, around 50 to 55 miles per hour. I would say really what we need to watch for now is going to be if this storm over here near Beaumont tries to get its act together, but don't really have a whole lot of rotation there right now. It's definitely not much. But again, we'll still keep a close eye on that as that continues to move off to the east. Here's a live camera, by the way, on Radar Omega back over in Jackson County. This is right along the coast of Mississippi. See the cumulus clouds up there. Quickly moving, by the way. These clouds are pretty fast. Also have a live cam in Hattiesburg. The rain is starting to move out of Hattiesburg. Again, roadways are very wet across Mississippi, so take it slow on the roadways if you are anywhere in this area. And this is out of the University of Southern Mississippi. Another live cam on Radar Omega. Nothing too crazy in any of those locations right now. Let's back down to this storm. We'll go back to Connor here. How's it going, JD? Welcome back. Yes, I'm not hitting the gritty, thank you. Definitely not doing that. Definitely not on stream. No, thank you.
Gotta keep grinding it out. Only tornado warning of the day. We were on it, chat. We were on it.
You have a little bit of rotation developing near Beaumont. Just a little bit. So that's near Beaumont, Mississippi. We have a little bit of rotation developing there. It's not much, but there is a little. Again, Connor is probably still about 20 miles, maybe 15 miles west of where the storm is. It's gonna, I don't know if he's gonna be able to catch up, honestly. These storms right now are ripping off to the east at like 60 miles per hour. These storms are speeding right now. Probably faster than the speed on the highway. All this storm activity. Here's the velocities. I'm really not seeing much. There was maybe something there near Beaumont for a second. I'd say this area, maybe up in here, would be where we need to watch for some sort of rotation, but again, not really an overly favorable environment right now. These storms are really clustered together, and it makes it tough when you're sharing energy amongst a lot of storms. It's definitely a tough issue to overcome for tornadoes to happen in this sort of environment. These aren't super high up storms either. I mean, we're talking a few, maybe 20, 30, 35,000 feet up into the atmosphere. These aren't super tall, super cell thunderstorms like Texas had yesterday with all those hailstorms. A little bit of a different setup than yesterday.
I'm actually sort of making progress.
But the winds are definitely stronger near the surface. They are a little bit stronger. Problem is we haven't had any discrete cells like we did yesterday. Again, kind of going along with that tornado risk.
I might pull over soon and look at tomorrow's threat to see exactly where I need to go. But that's just the way I'm going to drive. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we still have a little bit of rotation here, Chatham. It's still pretty weak, though. And these are the velocities, winds going toward the radar, winds going away. Not really much right now. The winds are still pretty weak.
Messy right now.
Here's the full view, but these are the winds right now. Still fairly weak as of right now near the Chatham area. Again, that's currently moving off to the east. We'll still watch it closely, but I think the storm's going to have a hard time organizing with all the rain that's out in front of it. I think really, more than anything, I think the thing that everybody should be most concerned about if you're in Alabama or Mississippi would be flash flooding. There's a moderate risk of flash flooding, and that's definitely a concern tonight. We actually had a little bit of flash flooding yesterday in Mineral Wells, Texas. So it's entirely possible that we get something like that here. You know, we already have multiple flash flood warnings, but there's definitely a chance for more flash flooding across areas in southern and central Mississippi back through Alabama. And actually, there's plenty of reports here too, but one of the reports is out of Eppley, Mississippi, of a couple of roadways being flooded on the north part of the county. So obviously, that's a concern, is going to be flooding, and perhaps a couple of tornadoes trying to develop out of these storms will also be something to watch for. Looks like we might have something trying to develop still back over near the Coal Green area. So a little bit of wind mixture there. We'll see if that develops into anything. That is a term that I've never used before. Wind mixture. I don't think that's a term I've ever used. Let's go back to Connor here. All right. Yeah, tornado watch goes until 9 o'clock tonight, Central Time. There is currently no tornado warning in Mississippi. There is a tornado watch, not a tornado warning. By the way, friendly reminder, we've been using the Radar Omega app here on the live stream so far in this stream. You can check it out with the top link in the description below on iOS and Android. It's a weather app that you can get on your phone for only $8.99. It's a fantastic deal. It has computer models, satellite imagery, live radar feed, a lot more than any other weather app that you can get out there. It's an all-in-one weather app. You can check it out again, top link in the description below on iOS and Android. Again, has tons of features like the satellite models, all that sort of stuff. And you can also watch the radar in real time And they also have cyclone ports, my personal favorite thing, with the live cams that are across areas in the entire country, anywhere from California back over to the East Coast. They have cyclone ports everywhere. Those are the live cams that you can watch on the app. This one's over in the Hattiesburg area. Highly recommend it. Again, get it on your iOS and Android device. Top link in the description below. And I appreciate them sponsoring today's live stream. Gotta love the sound of rain hitting the windshield. It's a great time. Charles, there are free subscription options, but it's just a one-time payment. Yeah. There's you get features
that
with
one
the
looks okay. It might be too far west though. I'll keep an eye on it.
Gonna go back to here. I can only take so much of rain hitting windows. I experience it quite often when I'm driving. It's fantastic. Still watching this leading edge over here near Cole Green and Wilson for a tornado risk, but it's been pretty minimal so far. We have a little bit of rotation near Cole Green, but it's not much. Got 2 Stormchasers as well. We got 3 Stormchasers on Radar Omega live on the app, but 2 of them, I believe Vince Welty and Brandon Kopic, are both heading east and southeast along Route 98. They're definitely going to be repositioning. Problem is, these storms are moving so fast, and you basically got to be going 60 or 70 miles per hour to stay out in front of these storms, because these storms are ripping at 60 miles per hour off to the east. So it's a tough environment for that when it comes to storm chasing. And that being said, we don't really have a whole lot of definitive rotation that's imminent to produce a tornado yet. So see if anything happens there, but so far it's been a bit of a struggle here in the last 30 minutes. The StormNet tornado probabilities, I'll show you guys this real quick. These are the StormNet tornado probabilities. This is the from Atmosphere Analytics, and this is actually interesting because it shows us the short-term 1-hour tornado risk, and right now it shows a pretty minimal tornado risk, like 1 to 10% back down near New Orleans. There's also a small tornado risk just in the northwest of Mobile. That's associated with those storms that are currently crossing, I believe, potentially the other storms behind it too. But that's a pretty low tornado risk right now. That's just west of Jackson. And then we also have a small one near Montgomery, which I don't think this will materialize, but there is a small little area there that is shown on this map. They also have 3-hour probabilities now. The 3-hour probabilities were way higher earlier, and they are pretty much 0 right now. Unless you're, I don't think this is updated, but they were a little bit higher earlier. But at this time, they are quite low. We have 3 different areas, though. 1 north of Mobile, 1 near New Orleans, and then 1 near Montgomery. So 3 different areas that we're watching. Again, all relatively low risks right now, but we'll still keep a close eye on it. These are the ones near New Orleans. None of these really rotating, so I don't think we're going to have to watch this area really that closely. Lots of showers, a couple of thunderstorms perhaps near New Orleans, but really not too much in terms of strong storms. And then here's what we're looking at back up near Montgomery. So very, very, I wouldn't even call this rotation. It's mostly just some light winds. We do have some thunderstorms in here that stretch from Greenville back into Montgomery. So heavy rainfall, some lightning, and again, some strong storms rolling through this area right now, all moving to the east, northeast, and northeast. And plenty of cyclone ports, by the way, across areas in Georgia. So I don't think we'll see any severe weather up there near Atlanta, but those are available up there in case anything happens there. Let's go back down here. Got the velocities again. A couple pockets of rotation near Wilson and the Cole Green area, but haven't really seen anything materialize to this point. Pretty weak rotation overall. Yes, I'll put the link in the chat. Here's that's the StormNet probabilities map. Yeah, there are 4 areas, but there's really only 3. The one that was up there west of Montgomery wasn't really like an area that I would even pick out as a tornado risk. Forgot to change my titles. No problem. Yeah, it's a relatively new website. It's experimental, so obviously the data, you know, it's very experimental. There's a lot of computer models in it, but overall it's actually pretty accurate. Now, so far today, it's had a couple areas near like 20-30%. Nothing's really materialized. In this environment in particular, it's been a bit of a struggle. We had a lot earlier, a lot of data earlier today that showed it might be a bigger event. It just really hasn't materialized. And I saw the tornado warning an hour ago, and I was like, maybe it'll be something. Maybe this will turn into something. But good thing it hasn't. This is an area that's really tough too, because we have a lot of trees and a lot of trees, and that makes it really difficult for people that live in this area. If there are damaging winds, or if there is a tornado, it can cause a lot of damage. A tree could land on a roof, and we still have gusty winds, which could knock down some like small trees, but we don't have any like, you know, damaging windstorms right now. Not a single severe thunderstorm warning up across the map right now, which is good. There might be some gusty winds near Waco, but probably not any damaging winds. Already getting some flooding in Montgomery. Yeah, Montgomery's definitely going to get a lot of rain. Probably between at least 2 to 3 inches of rain. Adam, only 1 thus far. That was at the beginning. The rotation was strong at the beginning, and it kind of just weakened out. Looks like a bust. Always good when they bust. That means we don't have any tornadoes, no damage. Well, not always, but you know what I mean. Basically, less tornadoes or damage than expected. It's always a good thing. How good is your geography knowledge? Or how is your geography knowledge so good you could pinpoint Schwamberg on the map in Illinois in a heartbeat? Actually, I could. It's just west of Chicago. I know that. I've gotten better with the Midwest. We do so many Midwest coverages. I've gotten better with geography. How's Enterprise, Mississippi look? I will check it out. Enterprise is pretty much winding down. It's mostly rain, so perhaps some localized flooding in like rivers or creeks, but that's about it. Probably nothing too crazy there. We have some gusty winds currently on the leading edge of this area of storms near Coal Green, but again, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of rotation. It's all, for the most part at this point, just gusty winds moving east toward Leakesville. And Chatham, obviously, seeing some gusty winds. We do have a special weather statement that's about to expire up there. But other than that, no warnings right now. Our only tornado warning thus far was just south there of Hattiesburg, southwest of Hattiesburg. But if this trend continues, I don't think this live stream will be that long, because we've really just not seen much at all. Other than that one tornado warning. Which, granted, that tornado warning, I mean, the reason why I went live for that was because the rotation was actually pretty strong. And there was definitely a chance that if it tightened, we would have had a strong tornado. But luckily it did not. Here's the latest StormNet probabilities map. It's actually kind of funny. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7, 8 different spots on the map now. If you're counting spots, there's 8 different ones. But again, granted, we're not really. Like, the only areas that I think have like any sort of at least very low chance of a tornado imminently would really just be this one here. I would say the other 6 or 7 areas are really not at risk, at least right now. Thank you, Corey, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome. Welcome to the Velocities. Got a lot of new members recently. Called it yesterday. Things are a bit messy. Yep, I expected that. It's pretty typical, though, because we have so much moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. These events are always messy. Even when we have tornado outbreaks down here in the southeast, they are still very messy for the most part. I have hardly seen an event, like, they're very rare, but when they happen, when we get discrete supercells, up and down this area. Like, it's happened before where we've had a lot of discrete supercells without all this mess. But when that happens, that is usually when we have tornado outbreaks. But we've had tornado outbreaks before with this level of rainfall that's falling. But again, this is just an event where it's been a struggle because of all this convection down here to the south too, and all the rain that's falling. It's stabilizing the atmosphere quite a bit, leading to a lot of these storms being smaller overall. Severe weather will not be going above Tennessee. No, maybe next week. Next week actually could get interesting. You go to the computer models here. This is on. You can actually use the computer models on Radar Omega as well. I'll go to the precipitation here. I'm gonna have a video on this for sure tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow morning. But this storm is gonna grow even larger tomorrow. We are gonna be watching for severe weather and the snow potential. So this is tomorrow at about 9 in the morning, so notice showers and storms up and down the coast. I will have a video tomorrow morning. There will be a chance for some snow in the Midwest and Ohio Valley and back into New England. But once we go later into next week, so this will be closer to, let's see. This will be closer to about Thursday or Friday. It'll load here in a second. We'll have a chance for some isolated severe weather down here in the southern plains and back down into areas like Arkansas and Louisiana. We might even get a little bit in the Midwest by around Wednesday or Thursday, but Thursday into Friday looks to be a bit more of a significant severe weather event that could develop, and that would start in Oklahoma and Texas, move through the Dixie Alley. And we are in severe weather season now for areas like Texas and Oklahoma and back into areas like Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. So this is definitely something that it would be on track and on par for what we see this time of the year. And eventually, as we go into next weekend, things would dry out. But I'll be mindful between Wednesday and Friday for both the Midwest, Southern Plains, and the Dixie Alley. Perhaps into Saturday for the Southeast. Bob, what do you mean? What settings do you mean? By the way, Spring Forward is on Sunday. Keep that in mind. So if you are doing anything, be mindful. There will be an hour forward on the time this weekend. No problem, Cardinal. Will I be live tomorrow? I don't know. I would say it's a low chance. I mean, with what we've already seen today, this has been a obviously a bust event. We've really not seen a whole lot when it comes to severe weather, which again, it's a good thing. I just want to point that out there that, you know, it's impossible. It is possible that that happens again tomorrow. Tomorrow's severe weather event will be primarily during the morning and about 6 o'clock or so maybe, but it's mostly late morning into the early afternoon hours. Let's do a future radar here on that. Here's the HRRR model for the next several hours. Let's go to, let me do composite reflectivity. And you can do all this on the Radar Omega app with the top link in the description below. It's on iOS and Android. But here's the timing for tonight. So time right now, this is about 5, 6 o'clock. Notice plenty of showers and thunderstorms across areas in Alabama, Georgia. If there is any severe weather still ongoing, this would be the corridor to watch for around 7, so around Mobile back into southern Alabama. Eventually, as we get closer to 8 to 9 o'clock, those storms are moving for the most part across Alabama, eventually into Georgia. Overnight tonight to tomorrow morning, most of these storms should behave themselves, but if there is any severe weather, isolated damaging winds, large hail, perhaps an isolated tornado possible. And then once we go into the morning hours, we'll be watching this area here for some severe weather. That's primarily during the late morning into the early afternoon hours. Eventually by about 1 to 2 o'clock, we'll be watching storms along the east coast of South Carolina, back into southeast Georgia, and as well as into Tallahassee, where there will be some damaging winds, large hail, maybe even an isolated tornado. By 4 to 5 o'clock, those storms continue to move across the state, and eventually by 6 to 7 o'clock, all those storms, for the most part, are offshore. Maybe an isolated severe storm still left over across central northern Florida. So that's the timing for tomorrow. But again, I'm not overly confident that we're going to have a significant severe weather event tomorrow. Maybe an isolated tornado or two, but I think that severe weather threat will still be on the lower side of things. Color tables, I have the file, I just don't know how to make it downloadable, so I'll have to figure that out. Adam, I think Radar Omega is way better. It has computer models, it has a lot of stuff, and it's really customizable. I mean, I use this on literally every live stream. It's in my opinion, way better. You can customize the map and everything, the cities, tons of stuff. Oklahoma, you need to be on alert next, like, Thursday or so. Next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that time frame. That'll be the next time that we're watching for some sort of risk of severe weather. Whether that is tornadoes or damaging winds or whatever it might be. That would be our next time frame to watch for. But at this point, I'd be not too concerned about it. It's still several days out from now. Yes, Brandon, you do. If you're talking about the velocities, that's what I'm guessing, but yeah. Ohio? Possibly next, like, Thursday or Friday, but I would say it's still really up in the air. There's, like, a low chance that we get something next week, but, like, up there specifically. There will actually be some snow tomorrow night into Sunday morning, and again, I'm gonna have a video on that tomorrow. I already have a thumbnail made for that, but I was gonna upload it again today, but then we had the tornado warning. Connor's actually getting to the end of these storms here. Been in the rain for hours now.
Came from Restream, awesome. Appreciate it, man. All right, time to get 5 memberships to the community.
I think Lincoln, Nebraska will be all right. Oh, I don't see any severe weather in the near term. How's it going, Guy? Welcome back. Bust on severe weather tonight. I don't know about tonight, but obviously the daytime.
Glad to see you guys coming in from Restream.
Haven't had a whole lot.
Good to see you guys.
Still got a little. This storm out near Leaksville has been interesting. Has damage. It has not probably damaging winds, but at least gusty winds around 50 miles per hour. It's near 63. It's west of 57.
Thank you for all your guys' support.
It's gonna be moving into Alabama here soon, but not really a whole lot of a tornado risk that has materialized here. And for the most part, pretty minimal. Had that one tornado warning near Hattiesburg, and then that storm has since then turned into that little gusty wind event that we have here. The storm merger up there. More of a cluster now.
Leading edge of the rain.
Yeah, this is just messy. I mean, when you look at the radar, it's just a messy setup. Here's the special weather statement that was just issued on this. Oh, I'm on Connor. This is the special weather statement that was just issued on this. So, gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour possible. So that could knock down some tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects like trampolines, by the way. Flying trampolines. That's moving currently to the east-northeast. Yeah, we definitely have some damaging winds growing out of that. Gusty winds blowing out of that. Potentially could get to damaging winds down the road. This is a cool view here. See the cumulus clouds overhead. Connor's finally gotten to the edge of these storms. It took him a while because these storms are just so fast.
Yeah, some nice little convergence zone right here. Kind of like a shelf cloud.
Actually, it might be a shelf cloud here, which actually could be interesting. We're going to definitely stay live and see if we see that. Shelf clouds are always really cool to see.
You subscribed from Aurora, Colorado. Thanks for subscribing. Welcome in.
Thank you, Guy, for the $4.99. I appreciate that.
Welcome
Thank you.
In. Happy
Generosity.
to have you.
Retimmer stopped streaming. Yeah, I mean, again, there isn't a whole. The storm chase today again was either it was going to be potentially big or be a bust. There wasn't really a whole lot of in between.
I am getting hungry, chat. I think we should get some food soon. I haven't eaten since breakfast. I barely even had breakfast.
Always better when it's a bust, though. Reed said he was pivoting to the flash flood situation. Yeah, it's definitely more of a flash flood threat. I mentioned that about 20 minutes ago. I was just kind of talking about, like, you know, this is much more of a flash flood threat at this point than a tornado risk, in my opinion. The flash flooding concern is definitely going to be more widespread than any tornado risk that we would get out of this event. But that being said, again, there is still a chance for an isolated tornado or two throughout the evening and the overnight hours, but I would honestly say that for the most part, this is definitely going to be more of a flash flooding threat. I appreciate all you guys,
every single one of you in chat.
Across the board.
Came along on the ride, and hopefully, to show you guys my appreciation, I was able to,
yeah, this storm down here near Leaksville, this one's definitely been strengthening over the last little while. The wind gusts being measured on radar are near 55 miles per hour, so this storm has definitely been intensifying quite a bit. Again, probably not going to get tornadic anytime soon, but it would be something to watch for our next tornado risk, would be out of this storm. Has a little bit of an opening out in front of it as well. We have a lot of clearing just out in front of this, so that could allow for an inflow, perhaps some sort of tornado risk to develop out of that, but it's definitely not imminent at this point. We'll check and see if we have anything else on Twitter here. Connor's back in the rain. I was kind of hoping you might be able to see a shelf cloud. The shelf clouds, literally my favorite cloud is a shelf cloud. They are very cool. Yeah, this is a much more, this actually could turn into a severe thunderstorm warning for damaging winds here. The winds are picking up in intensity for sure near Leaksville, but I don't see an imminent tornado risk with this. I think for the most part, this will be mainly damaging winds as it moves throughout areas near Leaksville and eventually into western Alabama. Again, I would say that the threat of a tornado is on the lower side of things at this point. All right. I like roll clouds. Roll clouds are cool too. Horizontal convective roll clouds. They're always very cool as well. There's a lot of cool clouds. And a friendly reminder, we're using Radar Omega in today's live stream. If you want to pick it up on the iOS and Android store, you can pick it up with the top link in the description below. Again, that's on iOS and Android. We've been using this app throughout the entire live stream. You can watch live Stormchasers in the app, like Brandon Kopic, Vince Walty, a bunch of other ones like Brad Arnold. There's also tons of customizations that you can do for severe thunderstorm watches, tornado watches, warnings, all that sort of stuff. You get live radar feed. You can do loops. You can actually go back in time and go back to historic tornado events as well. You can see it down here, but you can actually go back in history. I've yet to do this, but you can actually do that here on the app, which is pretty cool. So you can go back to like other tornado events that have happened in the past or winter storms and do that. There's visible satellite imagery, all sorts of stuff like that. Computer models up the wazoo. You got the HRRR model, so you can get the future radar on the app as well, which is amazing. It's a very fantastic feature because you can actually plan out what is going to be happening throughout the day. It's a high definition radar, so it gives you a much better idea of if you're going to see storms and when. You can check this out though with the top link in the description below on iOS and Android. It is the Radar Omega app. I do appreciate them sponsoring today's live stream. And yeah, I was going to say something else and I forgot. Yeah, Radar Omega is a fantastic radar. It has so many features. I do want to use this at some point, though. You can go back in time to a severe weather event. It goes all the way back to March of 2023. I'll have to do that sometime. Pretty cool. Yeah, so we got some gusty winds moving through Route 57, but that's about it on that storm. Again, we might get some sort of tornado risk out of this down the road, but I would definitely say that chance of that is still relatively low for the next few hours. I'm gonna go back to Connor here briefly because he's about to be turning toward that storm.
Might not be a realistic target. Probably have to play the southern end of the threat.
Or not.
Southern Georgia, maybe, into the Florida Panhandle.
think so.
All right. Hopefully we can stay rain-free for a little bit here. But our rain-free is probably going to last a total of like 20 minutes max.
20 minutes. He's been in the rain for like an hour and a half. The storm, so again, if you're just tuning in, he was in that tornado warning back near the Hattiesburg area at about, I don't know, probably near the beginning of this live stream, and the storm was going about 35, 40 miles per hour to the east. All of a sudden it sped up and went 60 to 65 miles per hour to the east. So that storm sped up really quickly, and currently it's back to going east at around 40, but it was really speeding up there for a little while. Yeah, I would say, really, if we had a tornado risk, it's going to be out of this. It would happen probably in like 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour if it tries to develop. Gusty wind's still the main concern, but this area, be mindful of that. That'll be rolling across areas near Mount Vernon, Jackson, pretty rural areas of southern Alabama. That's the most organized area of storms that we've had so far today. So that'll be really the next thing to watch for, but overall, we'll keep a close eye on it. If we have to do another emergency live stream, we will, but I'm going to end the live stream there. Obviously, a bit of a shorter live stream than we usually do, but I don't want to be live for really not a whole lot right now. But make sure you stay tuned. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If we have to go live again for an emergency live stream, we will. But for the time being, most storms, or actually all the storms, are non-severe right now. They have been for a little over half an hour now. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Make sure to like the stream. And again, I do appreciate Radar Omega for sponsoring today's live stream. If you want to download this weather app, you can download it on the iOS and Android device that you have. The links are at the top of the description. It's very easy to download. It's only $8.99. There are subscriptions if you want to get more features, but you don't need them if you don't want them. But they are fantastic. They have live cameras, Stormchasers live on the app, and a bunch more. But again, I do appreciate you guys all tuning into the stream today. Have a great, safe rest of your day if I don't see you again soon. I will have a video for sure, probably tomorrow morning. I do want to get a video out on the storm across the East Coast with the severe weather threats, and as well as the snow that areas in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast will see. If you're in the Midwest and Ohio Valley, it's not going to be much snow. It's going to be like an inch at most, but if you're in the Northeast, more significant snowfall is possible tomorrow into Sunday. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Stay safe. Have a great rest of your day, and also thank you, Zach, for the $1.99. Louisiana is mostly out of the clear unless you're in eastern Louisiana. And thank you again for your $1.99. If you super chatted, became a member, anything like that in today's live stream, I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you very much. And thanks for liking the stream, subscribing if you're new here. Have a great, safe rest of your day. If I don't see you again today, I will see you into tomorrow's video. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys all again soon.